Casanova travelers this evening. We have not heard from him in quite some time, so I'm just going to lay a spread and see what I can see. Here we go. Seven of Cups under the deck. Now, what I see is a situation involving a Two of Cups. But there's some things going on here. At the top, I have this King of Wands. And all around the card, the center card, I have actually, it's quite interesting because I have two major arcana. And it is the Magician and the High Priestess next to each other. So we're dealing with two people who are very powerful in their own way. I think this is power on a fourth dimensional level. Not, let's say that they're both, I don't know, bodybuilders or power brokers, or they, can be, but typically we know that the major arcana are spiritual cards. So these are two people who are extremely powerful on a spiritual level. Perhaps which is why they have been drawn together, so to speak. But what I see is that there are some things that might be perplexing in the relationship. I have the Five of Cups here. Yeah, the Five of Cups. And the imagery on this Five of Cups is a guy with undressing a nun, like forbidden fruit. It's kind of repeated here with this High Priestess. We know that the High Priestess is someone who I've often called her the virgin whore. She's quite powerful in her sexual nature, yet she is not an overtly quote-unquote sexual person, is as though she keeps it all under wraps. Which may be why she's covered with a mask, you see, but yet she's naked and in a very provocative pose there in the card. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah? Okay. Two people. I have a King of Wands and I have a Queen of Pentacles. Now, if this is not a fire sign and an earth sign, then these are two people that behave in this manner. This card gives the impression that this chick can get whatever she wants. Okay? The Pentacles is about the practicality of doing it. And she, the meaning of this card is someone who can get whatever they want. Now, we have this guy here looking quite intently. He's leaned forward. He has a wand. His legs are crossed. So he seems to be extremely interested in what's happening with this spread, because in this situation, because he is facing outward. He's not angled. He's not turned. His body language is rather loose. So it's as if on the card he's leaned forward with some interest. Um, in one regard, this is, I think, something indeed quite magical here. We do have the magician, but the magician is weaving a spell around this woman. Can you see that? He is weaving his magic. But I have these odd cards here. I have the Four of Wands, I have the Five of Cups, I have the Nine of Cups, I have the Eight of Pentacles. And normally these are all very, very good cards, except for this Five of Cups. We know that this is a card of, can be a card of regrets, a card of sorrow. And again, though, we still have those two cups there. I don't know if you can see those. There's two cups there in the corner. So it's like a repeater theme of the Two of Cups, as if some things have not quite gone right. Maybe he undressed the nun. Well, we know that perhaps maybe he should not have. Nevertheless, he has done so. I don't feel that the person is disappointed in terms of the undressing, but I feel that perhaps now the person may be having a little of some fear and or maybe regret. We know that the Nine of Cups is the wish card in every other deck. And this card is doing something for the sake of doing it. So I wonder if this could be why we have this Five of Cups. And we have this woman who is, for all intents and purposes, is almost ready, but that for some reason she's holding back. The Five of Cups over this Eight of Coins. Here, it speaks to the woman, or if this is a same-sex relationship, the person who plays, who takes on the role as the female, is of a great help to this guy in many ways. There is value in the relationship. There is value in whatever thing she's providing to the male in the relationship. But for some reason, I don't know if you can see the way the guy looks on the card. He enjoys it, but it's like it's for just for the sake of enjoyment, as if maybe really it's a rather empty enjoyment. Perhaps this is the interaction between the two people. Nevertheless, I find the most interesting two cards are these. This Four of Wands. Now, I think the first time I used these cards, and I said, you know, this woman is comfortable in her emotions. And she, in one respect, has revealed some of herself. Not all of herself, because she has a corset on. See, she's dressed on top. She's nude on the bottom, but she's dressed on top. So she's revealed some of herself. We have those wands floating on top of the water, which means her passions and her emotions run very closely to each other. Shut that dog up. But can you see the guy over here? He's at a distance and he's watching this woman, as if he either is afraid to step forward. Of course, maybe he is enjoying watching this woman who is comfortable in her surroundings and within herself. Maybe he's studying her for some reason. And also here, he is reflected in the mirror there, watching the woman dry herself from the shower. Again, this indicates that the woman is more comfortable in the relationship than the man. He is still fully dressed. Here, the man is in the shadows. Um, this is not something where somebody's watching like a stalkerish kind of situation. I think this is kind of a cat and mouse game, a kind of a predator and a prey kind of a thing. But because the woman is in all of these cards is, in a sense, she's actively doing something in the majority of the cards. She is, I think the man venerates her in one respect, but at the same time, he is at a distance from her, because this shows that she's doing to him, not that he's doing to her. Again, she's doing to him. He is not doing to her. Here he's watching her. Here he's undressing her. Again, he is watching her from a distance, as if he's really not comfortable. He is not comfortable himself. Even in this, he stands behind the woman. He's not facing her head on. He's standing behind her and weaving a spell, telling her a story, speaking to her softly. He's taking her away to someplace else. But yet he's quite focused and quite intent, as if he's captivated with the woman. Now, what this tells me, all of this, is that in a sense, they have met their match, the two of them. Okay? They both have extreme spiritual strength. They both are able to, because the high priestess is, because she's associated with esoteric knowledge, that indicates some level of magic, some level of the mysterious, piercing the veil, so to speak. He is able to create it on the physical plane. She is able to create it on the mental and spiritual plane. But nevertheless, these are two very, very strong people. So there has been some magic created between these two. But the question remains as to why, with this Two of Cups, as you can see, the vignette, they're far away. They're quite small. They're not central in the picture, you know, as if we're viewing them from a distance, which we are. And maybe the two people are at a distance from each other, or perhaps maybe this Two of Cups is somewhere off in the distance. This whole spread has a dreamlike quality, as we see here with the Magician. I think the man is very confusing in some regards. The woman has revealed herself. She is not ashamed to get down and dirty, so to speak, in terms of doing what it takes in order to, I guess, manifest this or bring it forth. Yet, it is the King of Wands and the Seven of Cups that I want to look at. The Five of Cups, as if perhaps he is afraid to touch her, to engage with her. Nuns are typically cloistered. They don't come out. They don't have a lot of... so in essence, it's like there's a protection here. The way the cards, the way the story unfolds around this Two of Cups, particularly with these two powerful individuals on the bottom. And in their own right, they are powerful individuals on the physical plane, on the material plane. He's a King of Wands. She is a Queen of Coins. So they are both, in a spiritual sense and on the physical plane, both extremely powerful people. I want to look at, that even though perhaps there are some regrets, and I don't even think they're regrets. I can't quite make out what the issue is with this, because it's still a Two of Cups. Even in the Rider-Waite deck, the guy's looking at 3 cups spilled over, but there's still 2 cups there. So I don't know if this has to do, typically it has to do with a past relationship. And maybe that's why he's chosen a woman that he feels he knows really that he should not have. Maybe that is the issue. Maybe he feels that he does not deserve the woman. So he even though he's weaved this spell, and he is quite someone who's quite in control in his everyday life, and also chooses to wield control over this woman, but to do so in a very different manner. In a very, very different manner. This is quite an odd spread. Let's take a look. I want to first look at the King of Wands and what he's trying to tell me. Because the energy of the cards is straight down this fiery, passionate king who is focused quite intently on a Two of Cups, and focused intently on, he has the willpower, and he has the desire to weave this particular spell, yet he doesn't make a move. As if to say, the move that he's made in the past, perhaps he feels he should not have, yet he's intently focused. He watches from a distance. It is some kind of cat and mouse game, is what it is. It is a new beginning as a lover. I have the Bambino, Morte, and the male lover. That is why he's focused so intently on the situation, even though he is not, quote unquote, really participating. I do not feel that these two people are together, like under the same roof, or not even really as a couple where you can officially say, oh, this is my guy and that's my girl. But nevertheless, they are, I think they are, I don't want to say bound together, they are inextricably drawn together through some type of spiritual force, as if they both were able to manifest this up. He on one level, she on another. Interesting that he's watching her in her own home. We would assume that's her own home. Okay. I don't know why there's such a glare. I don't know if you can see the guy. It's from the computer screen. That's why there's such an ugly glare. He's in the mirror. Can you see him? He's watching her through the mirror. And so that would, in a sense, indicate that, and he's fully clothed. I would not think that in his own home he would have a need to peek through the door as such. If it was his own home, he could be in the tub with her, right? So that indicates to me that she's in her own home. And still he watches her. He's reflected back in the mirror. It is a projection of himself. Perhaps he projects himself in a home with her, because the 3 cards that I have, the Casa, the Dispiacere, the tears, and the Limoneo. as if the cards say that this is what he wants. He wants to have a stable relationship with this woman, but there's something preventing him from doing that. We have the tears, the dispiacere. Perhaps he worries that it won't go the way that he would like, that he would like to imagine or conjure up. Maybe he's conjured up some ideas in his own head and is afraid that it won't go the way that he has envisioned it, which would bring about this card, doing something for the sake of doing it. I want to look at that card. How funny. Gifts. And there's a change coming about in the way, perhaps in his thinking. Not necessarily his thinking, but this is the guy who does negotiations and contracts. And maybe what he's been doing all along before this particular woman is doing things for the sake of doing them. And now he's looking for a change in what he's been receiving. This card means gifts or presents that are not unselfish, meaning that, yeah, okay, well, I can take them and leave and I appreciate them, but really he wants, there's more meaning to it, I think, that he wants, which is why the Two of Cups has come out. So he's giving this great thought. There's a change coming about for this man. This card indicates that, not that he's impotent in that manner, but that I can't. In this card, the meaning of this card is this woman was a great teacher to Casanova. And I think in some way, that is what the Eight of Coins, a practicality. Whatever this woman has been doing has been of great value to the man. And it's kind of an odd energy. Let me pull cards on that and see what it's trying to tell me. Yes. So weird. Okay. The sick person. The female confidant. And the dottore. Now, falling on this card and with the imagery, what this is telling me is that before this woman came along, he was not, quote unquote, well in some way. And that through her attendance to him, she has been a help to him. Okay? Nevertheless, that does not explain why we have, he's cloaked here, he's masked here, and he's hiding all around the spread. He's hidden himself all around the spread. And when he's not hidden, he's not in the best of shape. Let's see what's underneath this Two of Cups. It is the World card. And in this, the meaning of this card is he's sitting down writing his memoirs. So when someone has to sit down and write, they've got to think back. They've got to be able to craft a story, make it interesting enough to capture someone's attention. But we also know that the world can indicate travel. in some sense. Now, I don't know how that fits in with this Two of Cups. As I said, there appears to be, this is a distant, this is something that's distant, and in each card, there, she appears to be doing more than he's doing, or she's just doing something and he's watching her. This is a situation where one person is actively trying to participate and the other person is passively participating. But do know, if you recognize the situation, that the person is thinking quite intently and is quite focused, and I do not think has forgotten anything that's been done, anything that's been said, and maybe is trying to craft and conjure up something. In some way, shape, or form. This is a very odd spread, because it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. In one regard, the story that the cards are actually telling. This Five of Cups is what I really don't get. I don't get. Yes, see, maybe like I said, it was something the past. So he picks somebody that he knows he shouldn't be messing with, or maybe he feels guilty, but it has to do, the Five of Cups is all about the past. As if he had hopes in the past. Those hopes were dashed. There's the Tower. The disgrazia, the house on fire. But nevertheless, there is love on the horizon. So perhaps he has chosen this woman who seems untouchable. That virgin whore thing that I was telling you about. And whatever this is, it's, I think, going to take some time. We have a lot of very, very strange energy here. What's predominant, I'm trying to see if there's anything predominant. We have 2 cups. This is interesting. We have 3 cups, actually. Underneath, with the world card, 3 major arcana, 2 coins, and 2 wands. And he is hiding a lot of passion. He's the king. He's the top. You know, he's hiding a lot of passion and a lot of feeling and a lot of emotion underneath that mask. But he's focused quite intently on something. What, I don't know if it's really this relationship or not. It would seem so, because he sits at the head of the spread. And he kind of touches on everything else around the cards. It's the energy straight down through. The King of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Magician. I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. This was a very, very interesting spread. You know, just out of curiosity, I want to see what this is all about. Just out of curiosity. Now, she's a priestess, which is kind of like, you know, she's higher than a nun, but basically it's the same thing. This woman has her habit. This woman is kind of a paradox. Let's put it that way. She's good and she's bad. Yeah? The Donna Maritata. Remember I said the woman has been helping him and assisting him, aiding him in some way. A nurturing person. We have 2 of those here. A message coming through. There's a change coming even for this woman. There's a change coming for this man here. And there's a change coming for this woman. Now, will that change be between the two of them? I don't know. But definitely something is brewing. Something is most definitely brewing here. Because the world also indicates a cycle, an end of a cycle. So you have three very, very powerful, powerful major arcana cards. And I've rarely ever seen the Magician and the High Priestess come out. And this is a couple. The Emperor and the Empress is a couple. The King and Queen of Wands is a couple. The King and Queen of Swords is a couple. This is a couple. You don't normally think of them as a couple, particularly with him dressed somewhat like a priest. We know that she is called the Priestess. He's the Magician. But this is a couple. A very, very powerful couple. Well, I hope those messages helped from the Casanova. He always gives very enigmatic messages. All right, until next time, namaste.